welcome to The Explainer. Today, we're breaking down a really practical plan for building some serious wealth. We're pulling this straight from a blueprint that could genuinely help you hit that first million. Okay, let's just dive right in with a question I'm pretty sure you've felt before. You get that awesome pay rise, right? You see the bigger number on your payslip, but then somehow at the end of the month, you don't actually feel any richer. So where on earth does that money go? Well, believe it or not, there's a powerful psychological thing going on here. It's this principle called hedonic adaptation. Basically, it just means our lifestyle has this sneaky way of expanding to match our new income. That bigger salary? Well, it turns into a slightly nicer car, a few more takeaways, maybe a better subscription package, and boom, just like that, the extra cash is gone. But look, there is a way to break that cycle, and this blueprint we're looking at today gives us a super clear 5-step roadmap to do it. We're going to cover assets over status, why the gap is the goal, how income is the lever, why you need to protect your financial base, and then the UK Wealth Toolkit. All right, let's jump into step 1. It all kicks off with a really simple but honestly profound mindset shift: choosing assets over status. And what's so cool about this is how clearly it lays out the choice you're making every day. On one side, you've got status, looking wealthy. We're talking about the visible stuff, the fancy watch, the new car. That's all about fun now, but it comes with way higher expenses. Then on the other side, you have assets, the things that build your wealth invisibly behind the scenes. This is all about freedom later. And honestly, it's the real path to financial independence. And that choice, it leads us straight to the absolute core mechanic of this whole blueprint. We've got to redefine what our actual goal is. Okay, so here's the crucial point, and if you take one thing away, let it be this. Your salary, I don't care how high it is, does not automatically make you wealthy. Real wealth is built in that space between what you earn and what you spend. That gap is literally everything. And this chart just illustrates it perfectly, right? It doesn't matter if your income bar is 30 grand or 100 grand, your real power, your wealth building engine is the size of that gap. The wider you can stretch it, the faster you're gonna build that freedom you're looking for. And this right here is exactly why the blueprint warns us so strongly about the promotion trap. Think about it. If getting a raise just means you can now afford a more expensive lifestyle, higher monthly payments, bigger obligations, you haven't actually made any real progress. You've just upgraded your cage. A nicer cage, but a cage nonetheless. Okay, so if we all agree that widening the gap is the goal, how do we actually do it? What's the most effective way? Well, that brings us to our third principle, and it's a big one, because it's not just about playing defense by cutting costs. Look, budgeting and being frugal are great, they definitely have their place. But there's a hard limit, right? You can only cut your expenses down so far. Eventually, you get to zero. Your income, though, that has basically unlimited potential. So the blueprint argues that your main focus should be on playing offense, on earning more. So what does that actually mean? It means you've got to actively invest in yourself. We're talking about developing those high-value skills that make you worth more, strategically going for promotions that actually increase your gap, not just your spending. Or maybe it's turning a hobby or a skill into a little side venture. That right there, that's the lever you can pull over and over to make real, significant progress. Okay, but hold on. Before you can take all that amazing extra income and put it to work building your future, there is one non-negotiable step. You have to build an unbreakable foundation for right now, for the present. And I absolutely love this metaphor from the source material. It totally reframes what an emergency fund is. It is not just savings sitting there looking lazy, no way. It's the most important load-bearing piece of your entire financial life. It's the thing that holds everything else up when things get shaky. Because think about what happens without it. The car breaks down, the boiler gives up, life happens, and suddenly you're forced to sell your investments to cover the bill. And when you do that, you don't just lose the cash, you reset the clock on compounding. That's that magical force where your money makes its own money. You literally lose years of potential growth. It is a devastating setback. All right, now for the final step. And for our audience, this might just be the most practical part. Let's take these powerful ideas, which often come from a US perspective, and translate them into the specific tools we can actually use right here in the UK. So let's do a quick translation. When you hear an American finance expert talk about a Roth IRA for tax-free growth, what you should hear is stocks and shares ISA. This is your secret weapon here in the UK, an account where all your investment growth is completely tax-free. It's amazing. And when they mention a 401k for retirement, your brain should immediately go to SIPP, a self-invested personal pension. This is your personal pension pot, and the government gives you a massive tax bonus for contributing. Seriously, knowing the right local tools isn't just a small detail, it's how you actually make this blueprint work. So, let's wrap this all up. The entire blueprint really boils down to these 5 actionable steps. You start with the right mindset, assets over status. You get a clearer goal, maximize the gap. You find your power move, focus on income. You build your safety net, that emergency fund, and then you take action with the right UK tools like ISAs and SIPPs. So think of this as your starting map. It's the core framework to get you headed in the right direction. Now, if you want to go way deeper and get into all the nitty-gritty strategies, the source for this explainer, the book, The First Millionaire Blueprint, is linked for you down in the description. And that leaves us with one final thought to take away with you. Just look at your own life, right now. What's one small choice you can make this week? It could be big, it could be tiny, but what's one thing you could do to consciously choose an asset over a status symbol and take that first small step toward building your own future freedom?